Hello again, rail fans. Welcome back to another video. Now today we're going to do something a bit different. I'm going to be doing a popular thing I've seen on YouTube, a lot actually, and it's called narrating our videos. So yeah, let's jump into it and get out there on the high iron. So to pause the video, first up we find ourselves at Winchester, Kentucky, on CSX's CC sub, and we see CSX Q571, a Covington, Georgia to Waycross, Covington, Kentucky, to Waycross, Georgia mixed freight, making his way through town. This guy had 2 GEVOs on the head and 2 on the rear. Well, 1 on the rear. Nope, the wood chip hopper's coming up right there. Then we got the CSX waffle sides here. Then coming up here, we had a few various types of gondolas, some being what appear to be old 50-foot steel gondolas, likely former C&O, probably used for like mail service or scrap cars or maybe coil cars. Oh, that's weird. What's it doing here? There we go. You can see coming up in a minute, the GEVO is going to be pushing from the rear. There's an ES44AH. So for our next shot, we find ourselves at Ford, Kentucky. Ford, Kentucky used to be the site of a former power plant that was located off to the right of where I was shooting this shot, but it has since been torn down. One of the things that rail fans like about the CC sub, including myself, even though I've just been introduced to it, is that it tends to have a lot of very beautiful locations. Highly recommend the line if you're just looking to catch a few CSX trains out in the middle of the Kentucky mountains. It's a little bit of a drive. It only took me about roughly around an hour to get to it. Not too bad. So yeah, if you want to catch some trains, some pretty scenery, and in this case, even some tunnel motors, feel free to go on out there. So, speaking of tunnel motors, the train in question we have here coming toward us is Z545, which is a Berea to Bowling Green RJ Corman aluminum slab train. He runs on the CC sub between Berea and Winchester, Kentucky, where just a few miles to the north of Winchester, the line splits off and becomes the old road sub, which is Corman trackage. Note the searchlights off to the left of this track. You can also see my partner, the country rail fan, to the left of the shot. So next up, we find ourselves in Lexington, Kentucky, specifically at Rosemont Garden, as I dropped by the Berkshire train store to have a look and see what was new. It wasn't long before we found a train coming down the C&O and TP main line heading north. Judging by his consist, I can assume this is 375, but I'm not for sure. Nope, a shiny C6M on the lead. This locomotive, according to what I looked up, was only 2 months old, fresh out of Altoona. I should say Fort Worth, rather. And of course an old Dash 9 behind it. Gave us a decent little horn show too. Next up, we find ourselves in Danville as we catch what appears to be a manifest making his way into the yard. I didn't catch the ID on this train, so I apologize. On the point of this train, of course, is another C6M. So, I forgot to mention that on the next clip you guys just saw, that manifest coming into the yard, we have moved down to Danville, Kentucky. Also present at the yard when we were there was the Kentucky Trainiac Productions. The last train that we caught on Saturday was 167, which of note had 8 former BNSF C44-9Ws trailing that had GECX reporting marks. I can assume these were heading south, probably to another point where they were going to be either rebuilt or sent out to various locations by GE, or just put in storage. I don't really know, though. But they were dead tow because all of them had stack caps. Note the flashes as Trainiac gets several pictures of these rare animals. It was too dark to see really the rest of the train, so we're going to skip to the next day. So it's Sunday, July 11th, 2021, as we come back to Danville to catch some more action on the C&O and TP mainline. Trainiac was also present when we caught these trains. First up out of the rush here is NS51Q, grain loads out of Serency, Georgia. I hope I'm saying that right. I do apologize if I butchered that name. Also note the old guard tower to the left of the shot. The other train you hear the brake shoes screaming, that's C85, one of the Danville yard jobs, which we happen to see working today. I'll get back to him later in this video. Of course, another C6M would be leading this grain train. They're quite dominant on Norfolk Southern. The AC-44 C6Ms are rebuilt C-44-9Ws and C-40-9s. It's a rebuilding program Norfolk Southern has contracted General Electric, and now parent company Waptec, to rebuild these locomotives into new AC traction, upgrading their cab to GEVO specs, and other things that upgrade the engine and are supposed to make it a smoother rider. However, they are quite prone to smoking pits, just like this one displayed here. A pair of them were leading the grain train. For brake shoes squealing. They remind me very much of the Imperial alarm from Star Wars. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. This train stopped for a little while to take on fuel, and then he made a swift departure, making his way on north. We can only assume this train was heading to Cincinnati. From there, it's anyone's guess where he goes. see zoomed in, there's T-89 doing some work. Nope, a BNSF GEVO that was happening to be switching him today. We'll get back to why he was here later. Next up is mixed freight train 188, East Point, Georgia to Oakwood Yard, Detroit, Michigan, freight manifest. Nope, the ACU trailing second on this train. An interesting thing to note is that this train is listed as a manifest on the railroad wiki, but on this tape, he was an autorack empty bound north. I believe the reason for this is when he gets to Chattanooga, he becomes entirely an autorack and his freight is dropped at Chattanooga. The rest of the way is autoracks. Next up is another grain train, this time 56G. Grain loads bound for Loudon, Tennessee. This train made a rather quick acceleration with 3 motors on the head, and C6M and 2 Devos. Actually, they were all 3 Devos. The next train we got was NS T85. T85 is a Danville yard job that runs Saturday through Wednesdays. His power today consisted of 2 ES44 DCs, BNSF 7391, and Norfolk Southern 7614. Also of note is his former Norfolk and Western cupola caboose, which was being used as a shoving platform today. We were very fortunate to catch this caboose in operation, as according to Trainiac, it does not leave the west end of the yard very often. Shout out to Trainiac for very helpful info. It was a real treat for us to get to see a caboose in action, as most Class 1 railroads have long since retired their cabooses and relegated them to shoving platform service, which essentially acts as a buffer car between the cars and engine switching and the engine itself. Our T85 shoving platform is not the only surprise we have today, as you'll see later in this video.
It's the king of the night,
Also of note is that we missed the manifest which went by 123 in Decatur to Chattanooga mixed freight. Unfortunately, I was unable to record this guy as he came by too fast and my camera had died, so I had to change out the batteries as he went past. Thankfully though, he didn't have anything rare. Another rare surprise was the grown to Norman Hopper that he caught. Still wearing its BN Cascade green. Slabs. On rail. Next up, we had train 224, which was carrying the Conrail Heritage Unit 8098. This was a real treat for us today, particularly Trainiac, as Conrail is his favorite fallen flag. So, be sure to go give Trainiac some subs, he always can use it, and your country rail fan and myself. This guy had pretty much a golden lash up as far as NS goes nowadays. He had an ACE in the front, an ACC in the front, the Conrail Heritage, along with 3 other ES44 DCs.
He's got like 6 motors on it.
Trainiac was making his observation. We shall skip ahead just a few seconds. .223 would stop here in Danville and do some switching before continuing on west to his destination of St. Louis. 224, I said 223 by accident. 224 is a Jacksonville to St. Louis intermodal train, which takes the CNO and TP between Jacksonville, Florida, and Danville, Kentucky. From Danville, Kentucky, well, actually technically Faulkner, but we'll just say Danville for the sake of this video. He turns and heads west down the Louisville district of the Norfolk Southern, also known as the West CNO and TP main line, and he continues on to his final destination of St. Louis, Missouri. This has been an L&M Productions video. Thank you all for watching, but until we meet again somewhere out there in the high iron, this is the L&M Productions out.